I'm a hustler, baby.
It's time for Hustle Her Podcast. I'm your host, Deshae Keynes. Hustle Her is all about inspiring women through real life experiences that have helped to mold and develop not only me, but my guests into the entrepreneurs and leaders we are today. If you're an enterprising woman determined to succeed and looking for a bit of motivation, a bit of tough love, and some actionable takeaways to be the best you, girl, you are in the right place. Hey guys, and welcome back to Hustle Her Podcast. We have an amazing show today, which is really warm, near and dear, and warm to my heart. But before we get into who the guest is, just a quick reminder to please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Make sure you head over to the website, www.hustleherpodcast.com, and make sure you sign up to be on our VIP list to get all the amazing things that we do behind the scenes. And then finally, if you like this episode, make sure you comment and make sure you like it and let myself and my amazing guests know what you thought about the episode. So without further ado, we have the amazing Alaire Godfrey, who is the managing director of Ultimate Imaging. Welcome.
Thank you, Deshae. Thank you for having me.
Of course, affectionately known to me as Auntie Larry. Yes. How are you?
I'm good today.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So we won't go in too quick just yet, but we're going to run through some rapid fire questions.
Sure.
And tell me first thing that comes to mind when you think of these things. Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Definitely. There we go. Auntie Larry, favorite color?
Blue.
Blue. What shade of blue?
Like the pale blue. Pale blue is me. Definitely.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. A favorite song right now?
Last by Burna Boy.
All right,
That's
check you out.
That's me bopping in the car
all the time.
Yeah.
There we go. I love to see it. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Nothing. After cooking for so many years from my kids' life.
Yes.
I actually sat on the plane with my husband Andre when we came back from dropping Anais off to school, and I announced there that I'm not cooking
anymore,
and I haven't. Yeah, so there you go.
There you go.
It's nothing that I enjoyed really. I did it to survive.
Yeah,
right? And had the kids survive.
And they're survived now. So you're done. I get it. Like my parents used to do, my family used to cook all the time, every single night. My mom as well. And honestly, as an adult, I go whenever one Sunday thinking I'm going to get Sunday dinner. And they were like, oh, we'll order and takeout. What you want? Yeah. And I'm like, what type of foolishness? I could have got takeout at my house. But anyway, I get it. So then what's your favorite food then?
My favorite food is eggplant parmesan. I like that. Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Healthy, but good.
Yes.
What was your last impulse buy?
I am an impulsive shopper. That's so hard to answer.
Because there's so many things?
There's so many things. I am impulsive. I buy everything at a whim, and then I justify the purchase. So, I'm trying to think. My most recent impulsive buy, when it's not a dog that I see on, the internet. Yeah.
A dog? So you impulsively purchased an animal?
Yes, I do that. I've done that a couple of times and then had to figure out in the U.S. where's it going to stay for 10 months because,
can't bring it to Bermuda right away.
No. So that's me, really. I would say probably a bag. I bought a lovely bag at Christmas time. Yeah. So.
But those are like necessities. You got to have a nice bag.
But according to Andreas, how many bags do you need?
Hey, it depends on the day.
Yep, and the outfit.
Okay. And the outfit, right? So I get that. All right, what's something you misplace a lot?
My glasses. I'm frantically looking around. Oh my God, where's my glasses?
And on your
head?
head?
They're on my face. Yeah, I don't know. You start hitting 50 and things change.
They change. That is hilarious. Okay, what's one thing you wish you enjoyed more?
Family time, really. I really wish I enjoyed more of that. Being an entrepreneur, life gets consumed with the business and the running of it. So there's times that I just really want to do nothing, just enjoy, look, and laugh with family. And that's a struggle.
Yeah, no, I get it. And then lastly, what's your favorite show? That you're currently watching?
Yellowstone. That is my favorite show.
Really?
Yes.
I've never watched it. I need to check it out.
It's good. It's like one of those shows where you'll scroll on by when you see it, but once you start watching it, you can't stop.
And I heard a new season just came out or is out.
Well, they're in the new season.
Okay, right now. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you're watching it every week when it comes out, or?
Well, yes.
Are you a binger?
I was to catch up, but now that I'm there, I wait for the
week.
next episode.
Okay, there you go. All right, so tell me about young Alaire. Like, what did Alaire in primary school want to be when she grew up?
Oh, okay. Young Alaire. When I was in primary school, I wanted to be a pediatrician. I really did. I had I was under the care of the lovely Dr. June Hill. And just going to her office, that's something I wanted to do. So I knew it was healthcare. That's where I wanted to be. A very young age.
Very young age.
Biology was always a strong subject of mine. Really loved it, really got into it. So I knew healthcare was going to be for me, but I really wanted to be a pediatrician.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And then when you were in high school, like what sports or activities did you play?
That's funny. Did
you play sports?
Listen, I always wiggled my way on the team. That was everybody that knows me would tell you that she would always go as a reserve or a sub, because I was not athletically inclined at all.
Okay.
I remember first year at Warwick Sac I was signed up to represent my house, and it was like maybe 400 meters or 800 meters, something like twice around the track. And I convinced this girl to run. She was new to the island. She was on the team, and I said, "Look, you really should do this race for me because I'm not really feeling well." I hid out in the locker room till it was over. I felt bad because at the end of the race, she was like, she hadn't trained for it, so she was passed out. It was bad. It was bad. But not
you
sports.
Convinced her.
I convinced her to do it. I said, "You gotta, you're new to the island, new to this team here. You gotta take one for the team." I'm not feeling well. And
that's hilarious. And she ran the race. So no sports then.
No.
Okay. So what other
equestrian?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You did. I didn't know that.
I rode horses from like 5 years old. Right up to 15, and I did compete locally. Didn't go away to compete, but I competed in the local circuit.
Nice.
And I was in the ribbons too. So
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So after high school, walk me through what you did after high school.
After high school, I went to Saltus for 1 year, and they had a professional studies year as well as a postgraduate year. And professional studies was supposed to be to introduce you to business. Because I already knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to go into X-ray, but I was too young at the time because you had to be 18 to get into a program. I went to Saltus, and I had worked with John Barrett at the time to get me into or continue a day release program at the hospital. So I was actually shadowing in diagnostic imaging from actually in Warwick Sac and then in Saltus. And then I went off to school.
So what did you go off to school and do? What did you study in school?
Okay, so I started radiologic technology. That is how to take X-rays. I went off on a hospital scholarship. That was good. And that was 2 years, but it was at the University Hospital, Temple University Hospital, which was located in North Philadelphia, which if anybody knows North Philadelphia, the time that I attended, it was a really hard neighborhood. So trauma-wise, you saw everything. So you'd be a student, and after the first 4 weeks of learning how to do X-ray on a skull, you're pushed with a real technologist right in the field. Basically.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So anything that came through the ER, you were there.
You were doing it.
Yes. So I am an adrenaline junkie. I work better under pressure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Hence why everything is probably right down to the wire for me.
No, I totally get it. Sometimes you perform the best when someone needs it right away.
Yes.
Some people don't work well like that, but other people can work very well under pressure. I think it's a gift because not everyone can do it. Yeah, for sure. All right, so walk me through. We come back to Bermuda. What did you get into after that?
Okay, I came back to Bermuda. I worked in diagnostic imaging as an X-ray technologist.
This was at the hospital?
Yeah, at the hospital.
Okay.
Yeah, KMH. I think I was probably there for about 6 years, and then decided I wanted to further my studies and do ultrasound. So I ended up going to New York University, and I was in their program, which was echocardiography and general ultrasound. That was a 1 year program, but every program or diploma that I received was as if it was 4 years in university, very intense. You didn't get any breaks or anything like that. And you were immersed in the like general ultrasound by going around to different hospitals in New York, and then also the cardiac ultrasound, that's the echocardiography, by going around to different cardiac labs in New York City.
Got it.
Yeah, so it's probably about 5 to 7 hospitals that you rotate through in New York.
Nice.
Yeah, to training.
To finish all the training for ultrasound.
Yes.
Okay. And then you came back to Bermuda.
Yes.
And went into that, doing that full time?
I was back in the hospital, in the X-ray department, right? I never advanced to ultrasound, the actual department. I came back and took on the role as a chief technologist. Yeah. So it was something that I think that I had a good, skill set for.
Yeah.
And I, was quite comfortable doing, leading the team. It was like 64 staff in total.
Nice.
Which consists of radiologists and X-ray technologists,
Got it.
some admin staff. Yeah, so that's what I done, and then I was groomed for the succession plan to become the manager of diagnostic imaging, because I sat in that seat for like 4 or 5 months while they were actually transitioning through managers, but decided that was not going to be for me. To remain at the hospital was not going to be for me. Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to know that.
Yeah. Like I've always said, there must be something more with everything. There must be something more.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
So my first introduction to you were the head of HR for a law firm that I interned at. So how did all this diagnostic education and work then translate into HR management?
Okay, well, because I was the chief technologist of the X-ray department at the hospital, supervising the radiologists and the X-ray technologists, and also sitting on interviews for recruitment for that area, it became and also having the training for a manager, it really was just transferring that skill to another environment. So I convinced Barkley, Rod, and Kayode that I'll be your girl. I'll be fine. We can do it. And I held that job down for
a long time. How long were you there?
I was at ASW for 11 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I had a 5-year plan. Because naturally, for me, I wanted to start my own business. I wanted to have my own imaging center, diagnostic imaging center, and I knew that's something I couldn't start while working at the hospital.
Yeah, it's conflict.
It would be conflict of interest. So I knew I needed to, venture out. And I just feel that I was placed in the right situations at the right time. Like God had basically, ordered my steps and placed me strategically in places that I needed to be, so I can get the training,
absolutely,
skill set that I would, require to actually launch my own business.
So you're at ASW and you're over there being amazing at that job as well. So I've never met someone's amazing at everything that she does. So over at ASW, when did you start the business while you're at ASW, or was this in the works before? Like, walk me through how the business actually came about.
I started the business while I was at ASW.
Okay.
It was almost as if we were, because I had a business partner at the time who's now retired. We were ready to launch our services, but found that there were some things that we needed business-wise, meaning, we wanted to make sure that we were incorporated as a limited liability company. So hence, working at ASW, I had like
endless amount of people to tell you what to do.
I mean, basically, it was Bala Nadaraja, who was the head of corporate at the time, who advised and actually spearheaded our little incorporation. I call it little because he was
it's a big deal.
Big companies, right? But yeah, I mean, the man basically helped write the Companies Act for Bermuda. So what better resource?
Exactly.
And free.
That never hurts, right?
I can ask him these questions on his lunch break.
There you go. And get all the advice that you need.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So you're working full time at this time. It's just the girls, or you had your son by then as well?
I had a Nias as well.
So you have 3 kids, husband, working full time, and starting the business. Like, how was that?
I could not have done it without the family support. It was, and it's one of those things. It's like when you see a hamster on a wheel running, you wonder, like, At what point did he get on?
Mm-hmm.
And how is he going to get off? Same thing. I never stopped to look and say, hey, I have all this going on.
Mm-hmm.
You just do it.
Mm-hmm.
I remember my conversation before opening Ultimate Imaging was with Andre. I said to him, okay, so one of us is going to have to be home for when the kids come from school. So we don't want to wait with children, right?
Yeah.
Because he was working shift work at the time,
Mm-hmm.
with, corrections. So he actually joined the canine division so he can have a day job and be home in the afternoon for the children, because this required a lot of my time. I was at ASW from like 8 to 5 or 8 to 6. And then, 6 to 8, I'm trying to organize and run a business.
Yeah.
But, so it was a lot. I didn't get him probably nights until like 8:45. Actually, later than that, 9:30. A lot. I know.
Lot of times. I'm telling you, and I say that on the podcast all the time. I'm like, a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, and a lot of people think, oh, I can do that too, but they don't see that side of it, right? And I say it all the time when I'm dealing with entrepreneurs, but it's so true. People are like, oh, I can do that. And it's because they see you doing it so well, and she looks fly, and she's got a job, and she's doing this, but they don't see that aspect of it, the sacrifice.
It's a lot of sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's a huge amount of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Even, today, because not this present day, but,
yes.
If we take a vacation, something that we plan, months in advance and we save for, my cell phone has to be on.
All the time.
And I get calls. I've been on tours with my family, and I got a call.
Yeah.
And I have to kind of, I stick a finger in one ear and I've got the cell phone to the next, and I'm trying to, get through the troubleshoot a problem as quickly as I can, but it happens.
Yeah.
It happens, and it happens a lot. I would say to entrepreneurs or people that have, are at the top tier of their businesses, because, there's never really a shut off. There's no such thing as a shut off.
Yeah,
period.
Not at all. Yeah. You've always got to be working and staying on top of stuff, especially when it's yours and your baby, and you are the end all be all of those decisions that need to be made.
Yes.
Yeah, I totally get it. So do you think your kids understand the sacrifice that you made?
Yes, my children, they get it. In the adult lives, I mean, my oldest will be 31 and my youngest daughter 27, and my son will be 20. They understood the sacrifices that were made for them. And I watched that. I really watched my two daughters, actually my son as well, bloom. Last year, I had a fall where I broke my left ankle.
Because that's when we were originally supposed to do the podcast, remember?
Yes, that's, yep.
Yeah.
And Deshay, I mean, I cried real tears.
Oh, man.
More so, not because of the pain at the time, but was, oh my goodness, this is 6 o'clock on a Monday morning. Who's going to run the business? We have a new staff member starting today.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? You just kind of think that it's going to all, cave in. But my girls, they stepped up to the plate. My Zoe, she was able to give the staff blow by blow what was going on. As far as, surgery-wise, care-wise, my Kari, who's my oldest, and my operations manager, she did what she does best. She went downtown to a retail store and bought me 6 pairs of brand new pajamas. Never checked to see what I had in my closet already, but she was making sure that her mom was going to be in the hospital looking right.
Looking right, yes.
And then there was my son. It was funny because he was the only one that I would allow to hold my foot or my leg when I was on the ground and the ambulance had come for me. Like everyone else, I was like, don't touch me. But it was, I don't know. And I don't know if it's the teddy bear face, but he was the only one that I trusted to actually hold my foot.
Oh my gosh.
So that was his contribution.
That was his contribution, the foot holder of
the foot holder. Because
yes.
I mean, and then I had, obviously Andre, who was there for 12 weeks. I mean, he did the breakfast, he did the lunch, he did the dinner, he did the bathing, everything. I mean, I milked it. It was probably supposed to be 8 weeks, but I milked it to 12.
You milked it
was
to 12.
But hey.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
I get it. Yeah.
So I mean, that's when I really saw that, these kids understand the sacrifice. And while we were building the business, the girls would be crying nights going home with me because I was like, 10 o'clock on a Friday night, they were like, we're hungry. Why are we not home? And I was like, listen, this data's not going to import itself. Okay. It's me, you, and your sister. So let's get it done.
Get it together.
Yeah. So they understand. Yeah. They know about sacrifice. Yeah.
Which I think is important. And I think that also helped them to jump in your time of need, because if they believe in your vision, the way that you believe in your vision, and they see your dedication, I think it's a very rare time that I don't see your car parked on Parlerville after hours. And you know what? I'm like, Auntie Lyra's upstairs working. And that's not, if I can see that, imagine, your kids being in your life and seeing that all their lives as well. Yeah. So that's why they were able to do it. That was learned behavior.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah,
that's a good job. Yeah. That's what I say.
Well, yeah, because they know. I've not been the easiest parent. They will tell you that. But because I always wanted them to do better, be better. Let them know you got to always be the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
And you have to work hard. So, yeah, it's paid off.
Yeah, definitely. And you've learned in that moment, right? And during that time.
Yes.
So I guess we kind of know the idea for the business. You always knew that you wanted to have your own. But how did it kind of come about in the moment? Like, when did you know the time was right to start the business?
Well, because it was a service at the time that nobody was offering. No one had an outpatient diagnostic imaging center, at that time. And I wanted to bring a holistic approach to it, and being at ASW and getting to see that there are people in the corporate world who do not like hospitals, do not like clinics.
Yeah.
They tell you they got a blood test and the face goes pale. They lose the blood in their face. Whereas being in healthcare, that's just a norm for you. So getting that understanding really paved the way for, yes, when I do this business, it has to have a holistic approach. We can't, we have to ditch the hospital gowns and drapes and things like that. We're going to have, nice cooling vibes and robes for mammography, and it's going to be raspberry and chocolate brown in color, which, today, that the mammography suite is one that, GE engineers, when they come to Bermuda, they come to see the suite.
Yeah.
They're like, we were told that this is absolutely beautiful. We want to see it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, really? Yeah. Okay, fine.
Come have a look.
Come and have a look.
Yeah.
Wanted to have it inviting. Like, and I really said, we don't want to put like a television up where we're going to be showing news, because you need to have a chance to, disconnect from that. Sit there, try and get your mind off of your appointment, when your tech takes you in, be pampered a little, or there is a medical exam, be pampered a bit.
Yeah. You feel that in there. I've never gone to get a mammogram. I'm not there yet. But almost. 40 is quickly approaching. But I've been before for ultrasound and stuff. And that definitely is the vibe that you get when you walk into Ultimate Imaging. It's very calming, very cool. It always smells nice. Always.
Thank you.
It doesn't smell like a doctor's office, or you know what I mean? It doesn't have like that medical smell. I know it's made up word, but it's not like that. It's definitely relaxing. Everyone's so pleasant, and they call you by name when you walk in. They know who's coming in. So that personal feel is all, you feel it when you walk in, for sure.
Good, thank you. I have an amazing staff as well. They are like some solid professionals that want to do well, and they want to treat the people of Bermuda with to a high extent, high standard.
Yeah.
And I couldn't ask for a better team in that sense,
What would be something you said that you learned kind of the hard way as an entrepreneur, like a lesson you learned?
Hard way. Okay. Not having, or I guess not going to, a formal business program. I tend to be a nurturer. And so sometimes you have to have better bonders, So I've learned some things the hard way.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I got that. When I was full-time entrepreneur as well, the things I missed out on from a family perspective for lack of boundaries was difficult. And looking back on it now, it's like it would have gotten done regardless. So from that aspect, I definitely resonate with that more so than you would ever imagine. But yeah, so I mean, when we look at it now, and I know you said when you first came into the market, you were the only, right? And now when you look at diagnostic imaging, you know, a lot of doctors' offices do their own, and then you have some competitors in the marketplace now. What sets you aside from your competitors?
Well, for one thing, being a technologist in the industry, you know, having, you know, hands-on, I knew how to take an ultrasound, an X-ray, and I knew the profession. Like I grew up in diagnostic imaging. I was there since the 80s, so I know the equipment, and always wanting to. So for Ultimate, I'm always advocating to have the best. Like I want to be the facility that is going to bring it to our market or our shores here in Bermuda.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we punch well above our weight. We have sometimes a newer unit before some of the big 5 in the US.
Exactly.
Have it, you know, and that's one thing that I'm very proud of.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that for me, because it's a passion, it's never been about you know, the remuneration for it. It's about the passion. Bring this stuff to the island. Give your people, you know, the best. You know what? We're not that far off from, you know, New York City or North America.
Absolutely.
So we should be able to do this like as if you're walking down the street.
Absolutely.
So I think that's one thing that sets us apart and would always keep us above the rest. And you know, because I am always looking for new technology, new FDA approved technology, that one that I can, you know, bring back and share.
Yeah, and let people see and use it, because you always have all the equipment before everybody else. So
Yes.
Ultimate Imaging, when I used to be in that building, there'd always be somebody carrying something up to the third floor. There'd always be a bunch of guys carrying some too big equipment that can't fit in the elevator.
Yep, field engineers.
Yep. There you go. They're figuring it out though.
Yes,
so that's always important. So how would you say your family shaped, I guess, who you are as an entrepreneur? Like, what were some of the things they instilled in you growing up?
My grandmother, goodness, and that is she's my biggest hero and my biggest cheerleader. She always told me, never give up on your dreams. You know, go for it. She was actually the one who believed in, you know, my business partner and I enough to give us her blessing and her backing.
Wow.
Yes. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's a different level of support.
Yeah. And so, and also family loyalty. She got everybody involved with opening Ultimate Imaging. Whether you came there and you helped to fill up the first lot of towels or gowns or, you know, clean the facility or anything. She made sure that her daughters were there.
They were there
to support.
Absolutely. But you also see that in any event that you have, like if you go into anything that you do, your family is always there. And that's something I've always resonated, because my family is very similar.
Yes.
And I've always noticed that about you. Like if it's somebody behind the desk, it's going to be a family member. The ladies who come in and clean, family members. You know, you're always been the if I'm winning, we're winning. You know what I mean? And that's something you probably don't notice, but that's something I learned from you. Just seeing you do that for a long time is being open to having the people around you to help you out. And that's always, it is 100%. I remember when I went into business full time, I thought about my grandma and I was like, you know, she worked at the bank for years. Like, who could I get to help me out with my books? And I was like, my nana. And I thought about it because I talked to you one day and you're like, no, my mom helps me with that. Or my auntie helps me with that. You know what I mean? Yep. So that was something definitely I got from you during that. But family is so important.
Sure.
They are. Yeah.
Couldn't do without them.
Yeah.
Could not. You know, I don't know how people do it or say they're doing it on their own.
Yeah.
Because family is so important. I say it's all about family.
Yeah, every time, 100%. So if you could kind of go back, right, and you look at 18-year-old Alaire, would there be anything you'd change?
What would I change? 18-year-old Alaire. No, actually, I'm quite happy with the turnout. Yeah. I mean, you know, I was not perfect.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a high flyer in school, but I had a passion. Once I got a hold of a subject that I liked, I was relentless with it. So, no, I've had to learn things the hard way, but I think so far, you know, so good. And there's nothing that I would rewrite.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with that. I love the fact that you wouldn't change anything. You know, sometimes, I mean, I know if I look back, I think there are things that I would change, but I haven't gotten to a place where I'm okay with some of that yet.
I mean, maybe my height, maybe. Because I mean, like, 18-year Alaire had a tiny waist.
Yeah.
The weight's come over the years, but the height.
I don't think that's something you could have changed. I think that one's pretty set in stone. I don't think it's anything we can do about that.
And my poor son, he says, "Mom, got your height." Yes, she do.
Genes are a serious thing, you know. Like, yeah. So obviously, Hustle Her is all about women and the great things and the wonderful things that we do. But when you think of a woman, like, what does being a woman mean to you?
Being a woman, to me, it means being a nurturer, a warrior, a supporter. Mm-hmm. Those are the things that come to mind. And really embracing your femininity.
Yeah.
I like to be feminine.
Yeah. Like to wear your pink and your red.
Yes, I do. Yeah. I'm unapologetic about it.
Absolutely. No, I totally get it. So I guess, we're thinking back to the entrepreneur side of things. Like, what would you say is someone came up to you and they're like, look, I want to become an entrepreneur. What would be advice you would give to them? I
would tell them, as long as you're picking something that you're passionate about, then go for it, because everything else falls into place. That is, to me, the biggest piece of advice that I feel you can give a person.
Yeah.
That wants to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Make sure it's your passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, that's all.
Sometimes the money's not there.
No.
So you gotta really like what you're doing.
Yeah. So you have to love what you're doing. And I honestly think if you do that, you will get, the reward that you're looking for. Because you're gonna make that the best. It's gonna be the best version of what it can be, because that's your passion and your drive. And then everything else will fall into place. And but never do it from the aspect, oh, if I do that, I'm gonna make a lot of money, or I could make that. It's not gonna work.
No, not at all. So, what is success for you? Like, success in the business? What does success look like?
To me, success is being satisfied and grateful for what you have. I'm not a person that actually uses the word successful. Like, I don't look at myself as being successful.
Although you are.
Thank you. But I look at myself as, being humble and having gratitude for what God has given me right now in this moment. That's where I am. Yeah. And I guess for everyone around, they probably can count that as success.
Yeah.
But for me, it's more or less gratitude and humility.
Yeah. So 5 years from now, I mean, I know you don't look anywhere near retirement, but when you are ready to retire, like, how do you transition into that? Like, is it the girls? Like, what are you thinking?
That's so funny you say that, because I have a vision of me being 70, 75, still making my way to the business and getting in everybody's way, because I don't move as fast as I used to. I find that now sometimes the girls are like, okay, get up, let me do that, because you're just too slow, and I'm like, okay, girls. You have to be so hard. But yeah, I have a lot more to go. There's so much more. I don't see myself retiring anytime soon. I don't even know what retirement would look like for me, because, like I said, it's a passion. I want to be there. They may lock me out of the business.
You're just going to be in the way.
I'm going to be in the way. Yeah. I know that.
But I don't think that there would be any other, I don't think they would think it would be any other way.
No. Oh, they know that. They know they have to tolerate me. They're like, Mama, only you can get away with saying that, or only you would say that.
Right. They know the Mama. Yeah.
Jeez, I mean, I would be a part of the cancel culture, or I would have been canceled a long time ago if the children could do that to you.
Oh, Lord. Don't say that, Auntie Larry. No cancel culture here. No cancel culture. So you think, like, of everything that you've been through in entrepreneurship, working for someone else, who would you say has been your biggest inspiration?
Well, my grandmother, like I said, has been my biggest inspiration. But working for somebody else, I would tell you who I value their input, their support, their advice, and that would be Barkley Simmons.
Agreed.
Yes, Barkley has been tremendous for all aspects of the business, for my children, my husband, everybody. He's just been dynamic, and I'm so grateful for him.
Yeah,
I was able to, go into his office that he was working and take up his time and ask him ideas on business and for free.
He's good like that, though.
Yes,
he is good like that. He has a big heart, and his passion for business as well. It kind of trickles over with the people that he really cares about. And he's brilliant too, right?
Yes. Oh, yeah. He understands me, so.
Yeah, he gets you too.
Yeah, he gets me.
I always used to joke with him, I can always tell what you're working on based on the books on your coffee table, right?
Oh, yes.
Right? And so now he doesn't leave the books that for what he's trying to learn about. He don't leave them on his coffee table anymore. He's like, 'cause if you notice that, somebody else might have noticed it as well. You could always tell. And then like within like a few months, like whatever he was reading on his coffee table, that will be happening.
Yep.
All the time. So I think I kind of gave away everyone his little trick that we did there. But yeah, no. So what's your favorite part about being an entrepreneur?
Favorite part, seeing people happy. I walk into that business, and when I see, couples leaving with a smile on their face from, having their bonding experience with their baby.
Yeah.
To me, that is rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah. That really puts a smile on my face.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
You see it all though. Like most people think an ultrasound, they just automatically assume someone being pregnant. You don't realize that people get ultrasounds for a number of things.
Any diagnosis.
Yeah. You guys do all of that there?
We do all of that there. Yes, we do.
Okay.
And, so sometimes it's not always good outcomes. And we have to just be as supportive as we possibly can.
Yeah.
I am glad when we're able to diagnose early, gives everybody more options.
Yeah.
So that to me, that is our way of helping them.
Yeah.
That situation.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree. I think I couldn't imagine having to, you guys don't really deliver that news, but knowing that type of stuff and not being able to tell people must also be difficult.
It is difficult. Yeah. We don't deliver that news, but in this day, sometimes with like some of the clients that we have, if a lady could be miscarrying and she may know, and then a confirmation, no heartbeat, which she knows, and she doesn't need to go back or hear from her doctor.
Yeah.
She knows, and we just support her as best we can. We give them time to collect themselves. We offer them another, area. Like if the mammography suite is not being used, we allow them to go down there and grieve.
Yeah.
Grieve.
Yeah, because that's what that is. It's grief. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really sad. So how has being an entrepreneur affected your family life? Like, you said your job is all consuming. This data is not going to enter itself. How does it affect family?
I think now that the kids are older, it's a little easier. But my family, immediate family, my husband and my children, they have made tremendous sacrifice. So I guess it would be a question more so for them. Yeah, because they basically just got on with it.
Yeah.
I remember, Andre would come home from working K9 with the dog and have to cook for the children, and the girls would call me and say, "Mama, we don't like what he's cooked. He's put everything in the frying pan together." His old school.
Yeah.
And I would say, "Okay, I'll bring you girls something on the way, And then he'd be like, "They need wholesome food. You can't be bringing them, ice cream and things like that." But he was like, and it's funny because they would refer to him as, stepmom.
Oh no. That's funny.
He did everything.
Yeah.
He did everything. So he made a huge sacrifice, because he didn't have his wife there 24/7, or when he got home, his wife wasn't there.
Yeah.
His wife was working. She had another probably 5 hours to go at sometimes, and he had to just get on with it.
Yeah.
And so did they. He would tell them, "Leave your homework on the table. Your mom will check it when she gets in," which I did. But yeah, they've had to make, I think more sacrifices than I had to make. I'm just trying to think about times maybe like with sports days and plays, I always made that.
Right.
Even if I was running right in at the park, I made sure I made it. You know? But yeah,
Gotta be there. Yeah,
had to be there for that.
So how do you find the time with your spouse, like to still have date nights, and how do you still, because obviously he has to be incredibly understanding, but how do you still find the time in that?
You have to make the time. You definitely have to do. If you know, it may sound strange, but penciling time for each other in your book, your planner, have to say this is date night, you know, or we're going to plan our vacation, the two of us, go away, no kids, no grandchild or anything like that, just spend time with each other, you know, and it's expected the phone to ring, you know, maybe a call from Ultimate. 9 times out of 10 is a call from Yukari because she's joined at my hip. But, you know, that's one of the things that you have to do. You have to carve out that time.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's important to do.
Yes.
I get that. And I mean, it shows you guys been married for, you know, a really long time now. And so that support, I think on both sides too, you know.
21 years.
It's a long time.
Yes.
People not staying married that long no more, you know.
Stick to the wicket. That's what
they
Dada
used to say.
Oh, yeah. Stick to the wicket and the run shall come.
There you go. I love that.
Yeah.
So now, Auntie Larry, as we wrap up, the last question I ask all of my guests, when you're no longer here and someone says Alaire Godfrey, what do you want to be remembered for? What do you want them to say about you? She
was a pioneer in healthcare. That's what I want them to say. Other than being a good mother and wife, but I want them to say, yes, I remember her. She started, you know, I knew she started Ultimate Imaging, a business that still goes on today. You know, that's what I'm hoping, that this is going to be a legacy. And that, she was a pioneer in healthcare. She, you know, broke that glass ceiling and brought equipment to this island, services to the island that were first of its kind. Yeah. That's what I would want them to say.
I love that. Well, Auntie Larry, that's it.
Oh, wow.
That's it. That was almost 50-something minutes. Done.
Man, okay.
Yeah.
That was really easy.
Told you. Wasn't bad.
No.
There you go. Yep. Everything happens for a reason.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, I really appreciate you being on the podcast.
Yes.
And if anyone needs diagnostic services, they're at the doctor and they tell them that they need an ultrasound, how do they get in contact with you at Ultimate Imaging?
They can call 441-297-6863, and that is the main number. Or they can look us up on the website, which is ultimateimaging.bm. Yep, and that will be it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you again for being on the podcast. And guys, once again, we had the amazing managing director of Ultimate Imaging, Alaire Godfrey, on the podcast today. And we're so grateful that she joined us. Also, like I said, affectionately known to me and a lot of the other law interns at ASW as Auntie Larry. She hated it, but we still called her that. So if you want to learn more about Alaire and Ultimate Imaging, make sure you head over to the website, www.hustleherpodcast.com. Once you click on her episode, her bio and a little bit about Ultimate Imaging will be in the show notes there. And guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, but also to like this episode and leave a comment and let us know what you thought about the episode. And again, thank you for watching Hustle Her Podcast.